A JetBlue pilot says he barely managed to avoid a U.S. military aircraft midair while taking off from Curacao. ABC's Gio Benitez.
The pilot telling ATC the Air Force plane was heading into Venezuelan airspace when it got directly in the JetBlue plane's flight path.
Confirm the traffic was at your altitude.
They passed directly in our flight path. We had to stop our climb. They are not painting. They don't have their transponder turned on. It's outrageous.
One state wants you to come experience the magic of the Christmas movie capital of the country. ABC's Sherry Preston.
Connecticut is working to become a destination for holiday movie fans, promoting some of those charming towns featured in films on Lifetime and Hallmark. The state has launched the first ever Christmas movie trail, a self-guided tour of locations where 22 films were made, including Christmas on Honeysuckle Lane. That was shot in a town called Wethersfield, Connecticut. About 100 new holiday movies are put out every year. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Massachusetts man Brian Walsh was found guilty of murdering his wife, who vanished from the couple's home on New Year's Day nearly 3 years ago. Her body was never found. Walsh is set to be sentenced Wednesday and faces life in prison. The 12th largest Powerball jackpot still up for grabs as the total pot reaches $1.1 billion. The next drawing set for tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern. I'm Stephanie Officer, ABC News.
CVS Health supports people in the moments that matter, from picking up a prescription to connecting care. With nearly 5 million daily interactions and serving 185 million consumers and 1.5 million healthcare professionals, CVS Health holds a trusted place in healthcare. By simplifying care and improving health, we're helping people get the care they need. Learn more at cvshealth.com/Investor Day.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KBNU.
5:05 now during KBNU's For the People show, and I'm Will Feel-Right with your local headlines. A man suffering severe third-degree burns early this morning after his trailer exploded, which residents believe was caused by a propane leak igniting when the man lit a cigarette. The explosion occurred around 12:30 this morning at a Manaway trailer park. A nearby resident reportedly used a fire extinguisher to put out the blaze while neighbors called 911. Now, Aaron Mathis said that they woke up to an explosion and the trailer they were in rocking. The injured man was found alive, but his clothing was reportedly melted onto his skin. He was transported for treatment for extensive burns, while a dog belonging to the injured man was also seen running around with singed fur. It was later found and taken to an animal hospital. Now, the Manaway Police Department and Brigham City first responders all arrived quickly at the scene. Residents were reminded to ensure their carbon monoxide detectors are operational and to double-check propane connections following the incident. Meanwhile, the Logan City Police Department issuing safety tips to help residents avoid common online shopping scams during the holiday season. Now, the police department urged consumers to stick to trusted websites, warning that deals that appear magical or mythical are normally just that. Now, shoppers also should verify that a website's address is legitimate. Police advised against clicking on links in unexpected delivery texts or shipping emails, cautioning that scammers oftentimes will impersonate services like UPS. Now, for transactions, the police department recommends using secure payment methods such as credit cards or services like PayPal, which offer better fraud protection than debit cards. Now, the police department also stressed that consumers should always avoid shopping on public Wi-Fi and regularly check their bank statements to quickly detect any unauthorized charges. And body language expert Scott Rouse, who trains law enforcement and attorneys, analyzed the demeanor of Tyler Robinson as the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk made his first in-person court appearance last Thursday. Now, Robinson, who's 22, appeared in civilian clothes for the hours-long hearing, but did not speak. Now, Rouse noted that Robinson's apparent lack of concern stood out, and he was surprised to see the suspect share a small smile or two with his lawyers. Now, Rouse advised that laughing is not a good look for someone accused of murder, though he suggested that the lawyers may have been trying to alleviate some of Robinson's stress. Now, Rouse also observed a lack of connection between Robinson and his legal team, noting that their body language suggested that they did not know each other very well. Now, most notably, Rouse said that he did not see the grief muscle activate on Robinson's forehead, indicating a lack of concern or worry about the situation. Rouse cautioned that distinctions about Robinson's personality type, though, cannot necessarily be made from just a limited courtroom observation. Well, weather-wise, we're going to continue to see warm temperatures, at least for the first half of this week. But a chance of some rain is going to begin tomorrow. It's just a small chance. Tomorrow morning from about 8 to 11, we'll start to see some clouds coming in overnight tonight. And temperatures still going to be around the low 50s. Now, that chance of rain will increase as we head into the rest of the week, and we will start to see temperatures dropping into the high 40s on Wednesday. Thursday, we'll see mid-40s, but then still rain likely and low 50s for Friday. But that chance of moisture will continue into Saturday and Sunday as well. And bringing you our weather here at the top of the hour is Quality First Insurance. Matt Robbins wants to help you. If you're frustrated with your current insurance agency or confused about coverages and rates increasing, give him a call at 752-0101 for Quality First Insurance. And I'm Will Feelwright with your KVNU local headlines.
You work before dawn and long past dusk. At Black Cliffs Equipment, we see that. That's why we bring you Massey Ferguson tractors. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 84 months on select tractor models. Plus, great offers on hay equipment. And when the work gets tough, our service team is here to help with genuine AGCO parts. As a way of saying thanks for all you do, mention this ad when you come in for a free gift. Black Cliffs Equipment, your Massey Ferguson dealer in Hyde Park.
Reporting the news that matters to you. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, your number one radio station for news and talk.
If you're constantly dusting or battling allergies, John at the Duct Hunter says your air ducts might be to blame. Construction dust and debris can linger in your HVAC system long after the tools are put away. Breathe easier with a professional air ducts cleaning from the Duct Hunter. You'll enjoy less surface dust, cleaner, healthier air, relief from allergy symptoms. Plus, they'll clean your dryer vent while they're there for added safety and efficiency. Call 435-770-4813 for your free quote today. Fresh air is just a phone call away.
This is Jordan with Primrose Home Care and Hospice, and I'm here with Barbara. Barbara, how did you become acquainted with Primrose?
I had been trying to get another company to come and help me, and I had waited about 2 weeks, and I needed a bath. My neighbor suggested that she would make a few phone calls, and that very afternoon, Mark Stokes was sitting in my front room, and he said, "What do you need?"
Primrose Home Care and Hospice. We're your home team.
Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU.
My name is Bruce Lee. I'm here with my co-host Sid Roeder. We're here for another fun show.
This radio show is sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and efforts to provide information that is hopefully useful to seniors, their family members, caretakers, and really anybody who's interested.
Senior Moments, every Saturday morning at 7:30, right here on News Talk KVNU.
Have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. Hour 2 of today's show. Coming up, why the Utah State Auditor filed and then quickly dropped a lawsuit earlier today and then held a press conference. All of this kind of centered around a proposal to move her office, but the dynamics of this are pretty interesting. And I think she has a point. We'll talk about that later on, coming up later on. JP Morgan's 2025 shopping trends. Where were people shopping? How are they shopping? Different age groups. What does that tell us about the future of retail? Well, JP Morgan's big post-Black Friday report is out with just a few weeks left in the year. They usually put these out in December, looking back on the entire year, calling Black Friday the end date on their reporting. But a really, really interesting look at modern shopping trends. I'll give you one little teaser on this. We'll talk about it later on in the hour. But Gen Z, I don't know how retailers are going to get them. They are more willing to shop offline than millennials. They are less willing to get up early in the morning on Black Friday. They didn't start shopping until after 9 a.m. when everybody else had gone home. Kind of a smart move, really. and they won't travel far for a deal, but they'll travel up to 100 miles to shop if it's tied to some kind of experience, like a live band playing or a food festival in the parking lot. Really interesting group of shoppers, but we'll talk about it. J.P. Morgan's 2025 Year in Retail report is out today. Why the state auditor sued coming up as well. Kicking things off here, though, with, this is, I forgot this other story. Mayor-elect Mark Anderson apologizing for removing some signs along Canyon Road. Kind of a very mini controversy, but it's bookending what has been a summer of debate over, changes that are kind of forced upon us by growth. So we'll also be talking about that. Forgot to mention. Kicking things off here, though, well, actually kicking off in Las Vegas, the Colorado River Water Users Association Conference is underway. This is a conference that is separate from the official meetings that the Colorado River Water Users Association has, of which they have one more this year, next week. So they're at this conference all together with stakeholders, power brokers, lobbyists, scientific organizations hoping to better inform them. And they're all meeting in Vegas. They'll spend the week there in this conference. And then next week, they have their final meeting of the year. Why is that news you should care about? Well, if they don't reach an agreement by the end of the year, and now before anybody says, oh, that Trump administration, this goes back to the Biden administration too, the same threat. If they don't reach an agreement by the end of this year, the Trump administration Interior takes over decision-making power. That is the way the rules are written. Now, this could have happened during the Biden administration. They were able to delay it by convincing the Biden administration Interior Department to give them a few more years. They may be able to convince the Trump administration Interior Department of the same thing. So it's not for sure that the Interior Department, federal agency, will take over decisions involving the Colorado River and thus decisions involving Utah's water, but it's possible. Because, again, they have been debating this an agreement for years and years. This goes back to, I think this officially started in the last couple of years of the first Trump administration, spanned through the Biden administration, and now continues into at least the first year of the second Trump administration. That's a long time for a river authority to be debating a collective plan for water being siphoned from a river each year, long term. Now, complicating this, of course, have been a few years of drought in which the Colorado River saw some of its lowest levels on record. Lake Powell, as an example, I think many people had never seen Lake Powell that empty in their lifetimes here in Utah. And there was concern as it got down to where, people were talking about Glen Canyon Dam no longer generating power. And that's when everyone in Utah learned 75% of Utah gets power from Glen Canyon Dam. Not entirely, but it's part of the whole package that supplements and keeps our power bill somewhat cheap. If it's shut down, everybody's going to see a power rate hike, and some people are actually going to go without power, a lot of people. So that was concerning. There's a similar thing happening here with Utah because many people, including me until a few years ago, don't know this, but most of the people along the Wasatch Front get water from the Colorado River. It's piped upstream, if you will. We all think about it that way because that's the way it looks on a map, but it's not, there's actually a lot of downhill between those of us here in the north and those big rivers in the south. But, if you remember your middle school and high school geography classes, that's not how rivers work, right? So it has to be pumped. It's pumped through what's called now I forget the name. I just wrote this down too, and I can't find the note. Central Pumping Station is what it's called. And it's basically pumped from southern Utah up north and then into storage tanks and treatment plants and things like that. And then it becomes drinking water for people all along the Wasatch Front. Now, why should we care about that here in Cache Valley? Well, if their drinking water starts to run short, you know where they're going to look? They're going to start looking at us, Bear Lake, all the rivers in Idaho and Wyoming, and our water is going to be their water. So everyone should care about this, not just Utahns, but at least everyone in Utah. So now they're meeting in Vegas, and who are these people? Which states are represented? It's Utah, Arizona, California, Colorado, New Mexico, Wyoming, and Nevada, all sending a joint letter to the Interior Secretary. Current Interior Secretary is a man named Doug Berman, and they expressed basically that the Colorado River is literally the lifeblood of the population in the West and the economies, and is foundational for also the nation's food supply, and that they all agree it's super important, basically. But as quoted by Fox 13, Utah Farm Bureau CEO Spencer Gibbons said his addition to the letter was, we're trying to figure out how to meet the necessary cuts on water usage to keep the river healthy. And because if the river, reaches a state where it's unhealthy, the water changes and it's unusable, and then everyone's SOL. So they got to keep the river healthy, and that's going to require cuts to water usage. But what's happening here is no state can really agree with the other states on how much they're going to cut. No one wants to end up cutting more, and no one wants to see any other state cut less. So the 7 states along the Colorado River will be meeting again this week in the Vegas at the Colorado River Water Users Association. And then next week, they will have their final meeting of the year. And the goal is to hash out the final details on an agreement between these 7 states over a river that, by the way, supplies water to about 40 million people. Why is this happening right now? Why the urgency, and why am I doubtful that the Trump administration will give them an extension, even though the Biden administration did? Well, the reason this all started, again, in the final years of the first Trump administration, continued debates all the way through the Biden administration, and now here we are in the first year of the second Trump administration. That's how long the members of this river association have been debating this, these 7 states, and all the representatives they send to these meetings. That long. The urgency is that the water agreement expires next year. It's more than 100 years old. It was made with some pretty lofty estimates on how much water there is in the first place. That complicated things. For more than 100 years, states have been taking water from the Colorado River based on an amount of water that never really existed. And that was very unhealthy for the river, and those drought years really kind of hammered that home. So that's part of it. But it was just when they passed it in 1927, they said this is a 100-year agreement. So, 1926. So it expires at the end of the year, and then a new one has to be put in place. That's where this is all coming from. Amy Haas, the executive director of Utah's Voice on the Colorado River Water Users Group Association, is called the Colorado River Authority, because Utah lawmakers like to choose names like that, Authority. And their job, the members of this authority, are to go negotiate on behalf of the state of Utah in these large 7-state association meetings. And Haas said she's very optimistic that they will reach a deal by the end of the year. She said, we're looking forward to sitting down next week after our conference that started today with our sister states and discerning finally, once and for all, can we come up with a deal? If they can't, the Trump administration, the Interior Department, takes over. And that will then end up in courts. Because every state will sue over the cuts they're asked to make, guaranteed, including Utah. Now, not helping here is the Speaker of the House, who I'm also starting to think doesn't understand how rivers work. Speaker of the House Mike Schultz went to the media, and this is, I don't know why they say stuff like this. It's going to get the other states all defensive. But Speaker of the House Mike Schultz went to the media in an interview with Fox 13 over the weekend about this upcoming conference and the meeting next week said the entire goal of Utah's authority that the legislature created, and the legislature, he's speaking as Speaker of the House, is to keep Utah's water in Utah. He said, we've already made concessions. I don't think we should be asked to make more. The lower basin states need to make the same concessions that upper basin states had to make. Now, that's a reasonable thing, I think, to ask for. The problem is he's wrong. And so that's not going to help. Can we get elected officials to just sit down for a few minutes and let the adults on these associations work it out? The reason this is important is that if the Trump administration has to take over, if the Interior Department has to take over, the whole thing goes back to square one. It'll be another couple of years before there's a water agreement. And this is hurting states because states right now don't know how much water they can take out for use legally and for the health of the river. So it's in everybody's best interest that a deal get hashed out. Now, again, Haas says she's optimistic. She thinks after this week-long conference in Vegas and after their meeting next week, their last one of the year, they should be able to agree to at least the skeleton of an agreement. And they're hoping that will be enough to stave off the Interior Department from getting involved and give them at least January of next year to work out the fine details on this. Again, every state is being asked to make cuts, some more than others, and it has gone on for years. Haas said that the, quote, ongoing dialogue between 7 states and their appointed commissioners and commissions throughout the week will be really important. And she said that what we're talking about here is a kind of staggering agreement that, basically every state needs to take some initial actions to respond to the declining amount of water in the river, just accepting that reality. But also every state is going to have to up the ante in terms of hydrology infrastructure. I.e., building more tanks and reservoirs to collect in good years and use less in the drier years. But she said no state should expect to get out of this without being asked to commit a healthy price tag to building better water infrastructure, but also making significant cuts in the amount of water they use. So the Colorado River Authority, created by the legislature, the spokesperson, Amy Haas, saying that, Speaker of the House contradicting her, saying, I don't think Utah should be asked to make any more cuts, which I don't think is helpful. Keep an eye on this one. If this ends up in the Interior Department taking over in January, the first place that will all go is to court, and that is going to be a circus. So fingers crossed that all these water authorities from each state can actually come to an agreement during their conference in Vegas this week that they can announce at their final meeting of the year after 7 years of talking about this. Their one job. We'll be back right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Hi, I'm Taylor with CAPSA. This holiday season, we're inviting you to give the gift of hope. At CAPSA, every act of giving, your time, a donated item, or a financial gift, helps survivors of domestic violence and sexual assault rebuild their lives. Every dollar received provides safety, support, and a new beginning for someone in need. Visit CAPSA.org to learn how you can make a difference today.
Learn more about CAPSA, including ways to support, at CAPSA.org.
Let's be honest.
Hi, this is Ashley.
And I'm Robbie with LSS Insurance.
Is it that time? Time to think about retirement, Social Security, and Medicare? We can help.
Join us for our free Medicare and Social Security seminar this Thursday at 7 p.m.
It happens every third Thursday at our office next to the North Walmart. Let us help you make an informed decision for your retirement, Medicare, and Social Security benefits.
Call 752-9493 to RSVP.
And remember,
it happens every third Thursday at LSS Insurance.
For the men and women who feed America and never ask for applause, West Motor Company salutes you. Thank you for raising the food that fills our tables, for your grit, your hard work. West Motor Company is proud to sell Ram and Ford trucks to help you do your job. So right now, farmers and ranchers can take an additional $500 off our lowest price. That's an extra $500 off every rebate, discount, and offer we can find. West Motor Company, 80 years strong and still driven to serve you.
Coming up, J.P. Morgan's 2025 retail year in review, what some of the trends tell us about how millennials, boomers, Gen Z, Gen X, how everyone's shopping and how it differs and what that means for the future of retail. So that's coming up. For Sundance fans, Sundance Film Festival officially kicked off today, both building their volunteer team. They said they had a record number of Utahns sign up. Makes sense. Due to this being the last one in Park City that will be coming up in January. And then they moved to Boulder, Colorado, and that's attracted a lot of attention, they said. But they also announced a larger list of celebrities that are going to be coming to town for Sundance this year. Channing Tatum, Seth Rogen, Olivia Colman, Natalie Portman, Alexander Skarsgård, Ethan Hawke. The list goes on and on, but they're also inviting some music, and they said they're going to try and have events in Salt Lake and in Ogden to celebrate the film festival, as well as in Park City when it comes to their musical lineup. And they've got Charlie XCX coming, Brat Summer. If you don't know what that is, you don't care. If you know what that is, you're probably excited she's coming. That's one of the headliners that will play in Park City, but they said expect additional announcements. They're hoping this will be a statewide celebration of Sundance, the Sundance Film Festival this year, as a send-off for their final year in Park City after decades. So bittersweet, excited to see the announcement, excited for the festival, but yeah, sad it's the last one. Stick around. On the other side of the news, how people were shopping this year.
Of excitement tonight in downtown Logan as it's the ribbon cutting and opening ceremony for the Light the World giving machines back on Center Street in downtown Logan. Now, the program will begin at 6 o'clock tonight with singing, ribbon cutting, and then the machines will be open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day through the 31st of December. Now, along with that, while you're downtown, you may want to check out the 26th Annual Parade of Gingerbread Homes contest that started the first of this month. Now, overall, 12 downtown merchants are inviting people to come and check out the amazing displays. Now, the self-guided tour features entries divided into professional and community categories, including the Cache Valley Civic Ballet presenting the Nutcracker and the Happy Yule from the Shrine. Now, Gary Saxton of the Logan Downtown Alliance said that everyone is welcome to participate by casting a vote on ballots available at the host locations. This year, 6 $100 grand prizes will be awarded to the winning gingerbread homes. And the Utah Jewish community proceeded with its Hanukkah celebration at the state capitol last night, observing a more somber tone following a deadly terrorist attack that had happened over the weekend at a similar event in Sydney, Australia. Now, Rabbi Avremi Zappel acknowledged that hesitation had crept in, but the community ultimately decided to show up and stand in solidarity, vowing not to cower or hide in fear. Now, Governor Spencer Cox attended the menorah lighting last night, stating that, quote, "A single light shines brighter the darker it gets, and there is plenty of darkness in this world," end of quote. Now, participants also called for a societal shift to stop the tolerance of hateful rhetoric. And the discovery of a deceased man in a Sugar House neighborhood over the weekend has now prompted a police investigation into what officials are calling a suspicious death. Now, Salt Lake City police officers say they responded to reports of a possible overdose that was early Sunday morning, where they found a man's body outside near 2100 South and Lincoln Street. Now, authorities reported they had received calls about an altercation in that same area at about 3 a.m. yesterday morning, as well as reports of possible gunfire just south of where the body was located. And finally, a video featuring a Cedar Valley High School assistant principal in Eagle Mountain sharing what some perceived as overtly religious commentary has sparked some controversy and drawn legal scrutiny from a national nonprofit organization. Now, the video, which was titled The Refiner's Fire, was played for students back on November 17th and then briefly posted on the school's social media account. Now, in the video, Assistant Principal Scott Mansfield discussed sin, heaven, and the idea that hard work might save him from the sin of laziness. Now, he also made comments about mental health, suggesting that if students went to bed depressed or sad, then they probably haven't worked hard enough. Now, the Freedom from Religion Foundation sent a letter to the Alpine School District arguing that a public school promoting personal religious beliefs is unconstitutional and violates the separation of church and state. Now, district officials confirmed that they removed the video after meeting with concerned students and expressed regret for any hurt feelings. Well, we're going to continue to see these warm temperatures at least through the first half of this week. As we've been in the low 50s today, it's been a gorgeous day. And now tonight, temperatures are going to drop into the mid to high 20s. We'll see a few clouds overnight. Increasing clouds tomorrow could bring a small chance of some isolated rain possible for tomorrow, particularly in the morning. Then cloudy skies through the afternoon. Temperatures are going to again be in the right around the low 50s. But we'll continue to see a chance of rain through the rest of the week after today, as temperatures will get a little cooler into the mid-40s by Thursday, but then back into the low 50s to finish off the week, and that chance of rain even extending into Saturday and Sunday. And bringing you our weather here at the bottom of the hour is Mountain Valley Heating. With current tax credits and government rebates, right now you can save 40 to 50% on a new furnace or cooling system, but you got to act today because these rebates end at the end of this year. Call Mountain Valley Heating at 435-557-4181. And I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU local headlines.
This is Dr. Paul Daines at Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology. This time of year is filled with wonderful sounds, from music and family parties to an I love you from a grandchild. Don't miss any of these special moments. Let us help you or a loved one with a plan to improve your quality of life through better hearing. Visit us at 485 North Main Street in Logan or call to make an appointment at 753-4327. That's 753-HEAR, or find us at cachehearing.com.
I'm Stephanie Officer. Shock in Hollywood and beyond over the murder of actor and filmmaker Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. The LAPD says their son Nick Reiner is in custody on suspicion of murder. Reiner's daughter made the grisly discovery.
She found her mom and dad yesterday. They had been stabbed to death. They were down. The 911 call was for medical aid to the LA Fire Department. They then came and they realized this is going to be a police call, and that the police department was going to need to come in.
ABC's Alex Stone. President Trump today declaring his intent to sign an executive order to make fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. He also revealed his administration is considering changing how the law regards marijuana.
We are considering that, yeah.
Are you planning?
Because a lot of people want to see it, the reclassification, because it leads to tremendous amounts of research that can't be done unless you reclassify. So we are looking at that very strongly.
This is ABC News.
Do you suffer from consistent symptoms like these, and no matter how many doctors you see, things don't improve?
I definitely had fatigue and unexplained weight gain, brain fog, my joints hurt, and I just didn't feel like me. The last couple of years, I just had doctors telling me, oh, you're over 40, we can put you on prescriptions, and I just knew that wasn't what I wanted.
In a conventional model, it's typically one size fits all. Everyone's herded around like sheep and treated the exact same way. When they come to Red River, it's important to customize the treatment plan for that specific patient.
Talking with Dr. Swindlehurst, I just immediately felt like he was listening. He had a plan for me individually as a human being. If you're feeling the way that I was feeling, there's no reason that you can't go in for a consultation and do your blood work and see what they say.
If you're battling autoimmune symptoms, we have personalized options just for you.
Call Red River Health and Wellness at 855-55-RIVER.
Call Red River today.
The Light the World giving machines are returning to Cache Valley, and it all kicks off Monday, December 15th at 6 p.m. on Center Street in Logan. Come enjoy an evening of live music, sparkling lights, and holiday fun. Bring your family and friends as we celebrate the true spirit of Christmas, giving, kindness, and community. Come light up the season with us, Monday, December 15th at 6 p.m. on Center Street in Logan. The giving machines will remain in Logan December 15th through the 31st.
Let's be honest. When it comes to plumbing, crap happens. The good news? You've got a trusted friend who's been in your home for years. JM Mechanical, one of the biggest names in HVAC, knows plumbing. From faucets that drip to boilers and water softeners, the JM Mechanical plumbing team fixes problems fast and backs it up with guaranteed results. Call 563-6267 today. JM Mechanical Plumbing. They know plumbing.
The Above and Beyond Salute.
Hello. This is Ann Jensen?
Yeah.
I understand you're the director of Northeastern Services there in Box Elder County? True, yeah. Yeah, how long have you worked there? I have been in this business for 45 years. I left home at a young age. The school there decided that I could work in their special needs kindergarten class. Yeah. And I've been sold since. Well, Ann, I've got a gift card for you, and you can use it anytime for free lunch over at Firehouse Subs. How's that? You're awesome. Hey, thank you. No, you're awesome.
The Above and Beyond Salute on News Talk KVNU.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. The Canyon Road trees controversy is back. CashValleyDaily.com. Charlie Schill with the story. Logan Mayor-elect Mark Anderson today issued a lengthy public apology to his Canyon Road neighbors after he and his wife removed several protest signs advocating for saving the ash trees that are now gone. This has been a controversial water pipeline project that, the backstory on this, where the pipeline would have to run, they would cut so deeply into the roots of these 100-year-old ash trees that the trees were unlikely to survive. Arborists hired by the city also told them that many of the trees were in their last years anyway and would likely need to come down soon for public safety reasons, but neighbors in the area very attached to these trees. They've been there forever. It is part of the admittedly iconic look of that drive along Canyon Road, that little stretch there. But it is done at this point. The trees have come down. The protest signs, the Save the Trees signs, were still out. And the incident apparently occurred Friday night and has poured a little fuel on a quieting fire over this existing controversy. Anderson, of course, currently a city council member and arborist himself with 30 years of experience, had publicly supported removing the mature ash trees. And again, some of these trees were 90 to 100 years old. And his home, he lives there as well. So he was affected by the loss of these trees as well. But he acknowledged that his assessment was seen by some of his neighbors as callous. Anderson abstained from nearly all council votes on the project due to living there, a conflict of interest, and said the removal of his own family's tree was for them even an emotional day. The tree directly across from their house. And he said the emotion led to what he called an inexcusable action Friday night when his spouse decided it was time for this whole thing to be put to bed, and they went out and removed the signs. He says, I reacted to emotion instead of listening to my own logic and reason, and the minute we put the signs in my truck, I knew it was wrong. Taking the signs down was not our decision to make, and we got caught. He posted that on his mayoral campaign social media page. Of course, he is mayor-elect at this point. He will assume the role at the start of the year. And early Saturday morning, I guess, Anderson worked to make things right. He collected the signs that they had collected, cleaned them and restaked them, put them back as close as possible to the original locations he could remember. And then he said he spent the day attempting to contact neighbors and apologize to those who had noticed the signs gone, and said he spoke with several residents, including one family whose 6-year-old daughter shared ideas on how to beautify the street now that the trees are gone. Anderson again admitted that he was wrong to remove the signs and understands the signs. Though the trees are gone and the Save the Trees message is pointless at this point. The trees are gone. He said, I in his statement released on his campaign social media page, he said, I understand the signs represented my neighbor's voice. and that removing them was, he said I would never intentionally try to silence that. And he emphasized that his core goals when running successfully for office was to build community, and said his actions Friday night, he felt himself he had lost sight of that. So he in his statement, he said he is committed to regaining the trust of his neighbors and those who are very angry through kindness, service, and persistence. And he concluded by saying, I promise this, I will take responsibility and be accountable and do whatever needs done to make things right when those mistakes do happen. I will serve with all my heart, but more so with my head, logic, and reason, and try my ultimate best to do what is right for our city. Kind of a mini controversy inside of what is now, a moot controversy or a moot protest. The Save the Trees signs are standing next to, trees that are now gone. So I kind of get it. There was I agree with Anderson that going out and removing the signs yourself was maybe reach out to your neighbors and say, hey, can we pull these signs down now and put this whole thing behind us? And if they didn't like that, leave them up. If they didn't care, take them down. But I also get wanting to take them down because the trees are gone. It's over at this point. And the city moves ahead with the project. And the signs sitting out there could serve as, just kind of, scratching off that scab every time somebody sees it when they drive home and gets mad about the trees that are now gone. So I get the sentiment of wanting to bring the signs down and say, all right, this is behind us. I'm, of course, biased in this. I don't live in the neighborhood, so that's one easy way for me to have a, armchair quarterback opinion here. I'm not affected by this in any way, other than I think Logan City being able to get water from the east side to the west side is probably good long-term planning. And also, it's worth pointing out that the state mandated this. Not the specifics of the project, but the state told the city it would do something. It would find a way to get water from the east side to the west side. Not just Logan City. They did this all over the state as part of long-term growth and water planning. So that doesn't, I'm not saying the city had no choices. They did have choices, but this one made sense. I saw the numbers on some of the other routes and projects that could possibly happen, and this was much more cheap for taxpayers, Logan City-wide, to go this route. And I also saw, they had very limited space on where they could put the pipeline that will run from this tank on the east up there by the dam and across the city to the west. And you basically had two choices. You run it to the side of the road and kill the trees, meaning that you'd want to take the trees down first. And again, arborists, not just Anderson, but the city also hired independent arborists who said, these trees are they're nearing the end of their lifespan anyway. They'll likely have to come down in the next few years anyway. It made sense, is what I'm saying, for the city to do this. The alternative was to literally run the pipeline down the road, which means you dig up the whole road. The road is closed for most of a year, and then you have to rebuild the road after that. The costs skyrocket on a project like that. So this made sense for the city, but again, I understand it. There was a big old tree near me that was ripped down a couple of summers ago. It was one of my favorites because I would often commute past this tree. And in the spring and summertime, you would often see hawks because this tree sort of stood all alone in the middle of this set of alfalfa fields, surrounded by alfalfa fields. And you would see hawks sitting in this tree looking for prey in the fields. And I remember that since I was a little kid. And so when I went, I hadn't gone down the road for several years, and I went down the road once, and it was gone, been ripped down, and it's being turned. That whole area, those alfalfa fields, are being turned into housing now, or have been turned into housing at this point. None of us like that. It's not that will never be a pleasant experience, and I think it is unreasonable for the state or any city to expect that to be a pleasant experience for people in their neighborhoods. That said, we are experiencing a lot of growth. And the growth is not people migrating in. By far, the majority of growth now and for the next couple of decades is internal, birth rate, people being born here and wanting to stay here. And, families would prefer that their kids stay close, right? So we're going to things will have to change. Realistically, it is impossible everything can stay the same. Now, that doesn't mean we shouldn't be careful. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't listen to people when they have alternative suggestions or when they don't like a plan as it's laid out, because cities don't get everything perfect the first time either when they first throw a plan out. That's the point of the public meetings and the planning commission meetings and all of that. But eventually you come to a point where this is the smartest plan. This has to happen. And yes, it's going to lead to some change that is going to, maybe change the character of a neighborhood a little bit or temporarily, or maybe it's going to mean the loss of something that neighbors in a certain area are very, emotionally attached to, living there as long as many people have in their own neighborhoods. We should try to avoid it, obviously, but it's going to happen. And this isn't to dismiss the concerns of those residents. It's to say, I understand why Anderson and his wife, Ronette, would say, you know what, okay, it's done now. The trees are gone. This kind of was very divisive in our neighborhood. Let's take the signs down and put it behind us. But again, he's right to apologize, and hats off to him for apologizing as well. That's something you like to see in your elected officials is humility and accountability, right? So the full story on this at CashValleyDaily.com. Again, a little mini controversy inside of what is now a dead controversy, like the trees. Emotions are on high when this stuff's happening. Check it out, though. Some great photos, by the way, of the Canyon Road as it's changed with these trees down. Again, that story by, I said Charlie Schill at the start, by Will Feel Right at CashValleyDaily.com, and I've linked to it on our Facebook page if you'd like to find it there as well. And we'll be back with more of KVN News for the People right after this.
Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs. Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs. If you're having heating trouble and you need your furnace fixed, just pick up the phone and call Gary Riggs. 435-512-6633. We'll come to you. Our service fee is low, just $25. We repair all brands and have certified installers. Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs. Get your furnace fixed, call Gary Riggs.
It's me, the Grinch, and I've slithered down from Mount Trumpet to Al's Sporting Goods. Their holiday deals are so good, I couldn't steal anything cheaper. Ski goggles just $7.99, Under Armour hoodies $14.99. Humph, how am I supposed to ruin Christmas with prices like that? And listen to this, 75% off select bike helmets, $4.99 beanies, and drinkware deals everywhere. Come see me Monday, December 15th from 4 to 7 p.m. at Al's Sporting Goods, and take advantage of these ridiculous deals. See ya!
PTA can help enrich your child's life and learning experience. Join us today.
Aggie basketball is heard here.
You know, there's a pride in this.
KVNU is your station for the best game day coverage. With pregame beginning 1 hour before tip-off, play-by-play and post-game interviews and Aggie call afterwards. It's Aggie basketball on News Talk KVNU 610 AM, 102.1 FM. Online at kvnutalk.com and the KVNU mobile app. The Heritage Home for the Aggies.
Handful of stories here to entertain you as we head into your evening, my evening. I hope it's a good one. J.P. Morgan Chase out with their annual post-Black Friday, not quite the end of the year, but kind of end of the year recap of retail and shopping throughout the year. And so here's what we have. There's quite a few things here that are worth reading, and I'll link to it on our Facebook page. Again, holiday shopping trends and the year in review from J.P. Morgan. Some quick insights. 50% of 2025's so far again, there's a few weeks of the year left here. 50% of 2025's top 10 online transactions fell between Black Friday and Cyber Monday last week. JP Morgan says retailers should use this high-volume e-commerce period as an opportunity to build loyalty by distributing coupons that can be only used in-store. Kind of a cool little bit of advice there from the data. On Black Friday, over 47% of those in the Gen Z age category did their shopping between 6 and 9 a.m., 46%. But 52% of the shoppers in the Gen Z age group, 25 and under, were shopping after 9 a.m., meaning they sat out Black Friday. Black Friday in general was actually kind of disappointing this year for retailers online and off as far as turnout and sales go. Still one of the biggest shopping days of the year, but nothing compared to previous years. In fact, Gen Z holiday shoppers spent more money the week after Black Friday than they did on Black Friday itself. I don't know what that says for the future of Black Friday. Personally, I have a lot of opinions on what they're doing to not excite people to get up at 5 in the morning to go shopping, and we can talk about that another day. Some of the other insights from the Shopping Trends report, retailers are seeing some luck with new investments in technology and even personalized marketing to kind of boost engagement with their actual customers, if you will, making it a more robust experience, to put a word on it. I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I'm nervous about some of the trends we're seeing with some stores are actually experimenting with what they call peak pricing, these digital price tags that will appear on the shelf and ring up at the register. And depending on when you go in or what's sold a lot that day, the price goes up. I think that's going to backfire on retailers. If I were a retailer, I wouldn't go there. But there's some good news in the report. Credit card usage throughout 2025 and 2024 consistently exceeded debit card users for the holiday shoppers in general. But Gen Z actually saw a downtick, whereas millennials, Gen X, and the baby boomers out there still shopping, they were using credit cards. Gen Z actually steered clear of them a bit more. Not a lot more, but a bit more. It's estimated about 55 to 60% of general shoppers were using credit cards on Black Friday this year. And the Gen Z age group, only about 40% of them were using credit cards, implying they're using debit cards or cash. And that is, so now this is a really interesting thing. What they found in this trend, so now there are a lot of trends in here, and you can read the whole thing. I've linked to it on our Facebook page. But this is a trend that really stands out to me. I don't have an explanation. Neither did the experts at JP Morgan. But it's probably one to keep an eye on, to say the least. What they found is that Gen Z, now one thing we do know about, and this actually started with Gen X, and then it got even more prominent and noticeable with millennials, and now with Gen Z it is just a standard. But Gen Z is more experience oriented. For Gen Z, it's a bit less about the thing or the stuff that they're going to buy and take home. They're more interested in an experience. And so what they found is that Gen Z, more than any older generation, was willing to travel on Black Friday or in their shopping experiences overall throughout the year of 2025. So retailers, for example, offering in-store specials that were also tied to an event of some kind, or that had some sort of real-time happening at their physical facility, entertainment or food, or they had brought in some kind of a parking lot. I'm just reaching here because I have no idea. They don't provide specifics in the JP Morgan report, but a parking lot circus. I don't know what it was, but Gen Z was willing to travel for in-person retail experiences that went above and beyond the things they were there to buy. And a significant amount, between 50 to 100 miles. 55% of Gen Z shoppers on Black Friday this year said they traveled, between 40 and 100 miles. Gen Z shoppers, 55% of them said they traveled more than 40 miles to do some retail shopping in person at a brick and mortar store because the shopping was tied to an event. Something going on in the parking lot, something going on in the store, food, music, those kinds of things. So it became more about just the stuff you were going to buy and take home and then have to get rid of the next year because you didn't need it. Really cool data here, again, in this. It's the annual J.P. Morgan Shopping Trends. And the subtitle on this one, Gen Z is rewiring retail in America. It's a fascinating look at that. Again, willing to travel, using credit cards less, meaning that they're watching their budgets more, and that they were not interested in getting up super early for shopping. They started around 9 when everyone else had already wrapped it up and gone home. And again, willing to travel between 40 and 100 miles if their shopping experience was more than just the stuff they were buying, but was also tied to some kind of experience or celebration or festival of some kind. Some really cool stuff out there. No surprises. This has been a trend for a while now, but interesting to say the least. So check it out. That's our show for today. Links to everything we've discussed on our Facebook page, and I hope you'll be with us tomorrow. The big update for the governor, from the governor's budget, some hints coming out on what this might look like officially and what the legislature might do with it. Spoiler alert, it's going to be another lean year. Don't expect the governor to ask for a lot or the legislature to give a lot, but we'll see. That's tomorrow on For the People. Dave Ramsey is next here on KVNU Logan.
As our world changes, we'll keep you up to date. News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM, 610 AM.